So as many of you know, I was in Europe last week hiring engineers so we can build product faster. And you know how these team summits go, these team meetings, we're all out, we're having a couple of drinks, we get ready to leave. And I call an Uber and it gets canceled. And so I call another Uber and it gets canceled. So I call an Uber again and it gets canceled. And I'm thinking, like, this really sucks, right? And so I call an Uber again and finally it shows, but it shows up late. And I started thinking to myself over the time I was in Europe, like the show up rate for the Uber drivers in Europe is about 50%. It's a really bad experience for me. So I get back to Washington, D.C. and I call an Uber and it shows up immediately and it just popped in my head, like all the real estate leads that you're paying money to attract from Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Facebook leads, all these leads that you're paying money to attract, how often do you actually show up? And what the data shows, the facts show that you only show up about 50% of the time. 50% of the real estate leads that you pay money to attract don't get followed up with at all. And so we can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. We can't have different data. And so it's a really bad experience when you don't show up to a real estate lead. A home buyer who's looking to buy or looking to sell, they want to do business with you and you absolutely don't show up. It's a bad experience for them the same way it was a bad experience for me when I was calling an Uber in Europe. See, the reality is, what you have to understand is that you're not just competing with the real estate agent down the street. You're competing with Amazon, Lyft, Uber, Instacart, all these always on, mobile-friendly, 24/7 consumers who want things right now. The same people who don't want Amazon next day shipping with Prime, they want same day shipping. They want Instacart to deliver their groceries right now, right? People who want to get more with less. That's the mentality that you're dealing with, and it's 2019. And so if you don't meet those customers' expectations, then yeah, they're going to do business with someone else who gives them a better experience, because part of your job is to make the transaction easier. If you make the transaction easier, then guess what? You get more transactions. I was talking to CJ Evans a couple of days ago. We had a Facebook Live in the real estate group, the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind. If you're not a part of it, you should join it, because in that group, he talked about his process from going from 0 sales in 2017 to more than $2 million per month in sales in 2019. From 0 to more than $2 million per month in a little under 2 years. And he talked about his process, and it's really simple. Control the controllables. Focus on the things that really drive the business forward. And there's only a couple of things. Generate leads, follow up with leads, get those leads to the lender if that's the market that you're in, and close deals. Then repeat the cycle. You got all these people who are trying to sell you things, and it's like the new shiny object, but then you don't end up treating your business like a business. You end up not having a consistent and predictable system to generate leads, follow up with leads. And the reality is, if you want to have complete control over your business, then you need systems in place. And then you need principles to guide those systems. And then you need tools to implement within those systems. It's really simple. But the reality is, how often are you actually following up with the real estate leads you got? You're probably not doing it, and you're probably not showing up for a good reason. And it's because you're out closing deals, reviewing contracts with clients, or you're going to listing appointments. And so you have good reasons to not follow up with those leads. You have good reasons for your 50% show up rate, which is kind of awful, but I kind of understand that doesn't make it good though. That doesn't mean that the consumer's experience that you're delivering them is satisfactory. In fact, it's insufficient, and that's probably why you're at a 7. You're trying to get to a 10, right? So you're a top producing real estate agent, team lead, or broker, because those are the people we work with. You're at a 7, you're trying to get to a 10, but your conversion rates are stagnating or declining at worst. Your charts aren't going up and to the right, and it's because you're not showing up for work when you're supposed to show up. Real estate leads expect you to show up within 5 minutes, or they're going to go cold. They're going to move on to someone else. So what we do at Smart Alto is that we guarantee a 100% show up rate, that you're always going to show up for work. Even when you're reviewing contracts, you're with clients, you're, at listing appointments, you're with your kids, taking them to school, bringing them home from school, you're on vacation, it doesn't matter what you're doing. We make sure that our inside sales agents show up for you to talk to those real estate leads 100% of the time. And that's part of the battle. It's part of winning the battle, because 80% of real estate leads work with the very first agent they meet face to face when they're ready to transact. Most people don't shop around for an agent. That's the reality. That's what the data shows. They don't shop around for an agent. They're going to work with the first person they meet when they're ready to transact. We make sure that you're that first person because we make sure that you show up 100% of the time. You got to remember, this is the always on, really, millennial who's interested in instant gratification, the microwave society that we're in. They want speed to lead. You gotta have speed to lead, because you're not just competing with the agent down the street, you're competing with Amazon, with Uber, with Instacart, with Lyft, and the on-demand services that people enjoy every single day. More than likely, you're an Amazon Prime member. They got 100 million members. You're probably an Amazon Prime member, and you don't want them to deliver just next day. You want same day. Your home buyers, your home sellers, the real estate leads are the exact same way. And so what's your show up rate? I'm gonna ask you some tough questions. What's your show up rate? How often are you showing up? The data, the facts suggest that you're only showing up 50% of the time. How quickly are you showing up? The facts, the data suggest that you show up 45 hours late to the party. So that's not sufficient. We can have different opinions, but we can't have different facts. So, ask yourself those tough questions. Make sure that you got a good show up rate. And if you don't, then I strongly encourage you to put interested in the bottom of this video, and I'll have someone from my team reach out to you and talk to you just a little bit about how Smart Alto can make sure your show up rate is 100%. Make sure you have the systems in place to simplify your business and make your charts go up and to the right, and start growing your business again, help you get from that 7 to a 10. Again, my name is Hassan Riggs. I'm the founder and CEO at Smart Alto. And if you want to compete against the Ubers, the Amazons of the world, the Instacarts, and give your clients an always on experience to make sure that they're satisfied with the experience that you're delivering, and making sure that you make the transaction easier so you can actually get more transactions, then reach out to us and I would love to chat with you. Again, Hassan Riggs. And if you like this video, feel free to share it with someone you know, like, and trust. Look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks.